Let's start with the Speed Chess Championship. Why don't we start there, since it's coming up tomorrow? Obviously, the semifinals, big matches, Magnus versus Neiman. Everybody's eyes are on that, and of course, another big clash is Alireza versus Hikaru. They have some history. What's your take? We sort of discussed it a couple of episodes ago, I think, as in we gave some percentages for chances. But as we get closer to the event, what's your take on it? What's your read on it? Let's start with Alireza versus Hikaru. What's your read on that match?
Yeah, I would say around. I mean, it's a bit lazy to say, but around 50-50. I don't think I would give Hikaru much of an edge. Like maybe in Bullet, but I don't know in Bullet even if he really has an edge. I mean, Alireza is very good, and he's been in shape. I said this last time, right? He's been in good shape recently. So, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised at all that Alireza wins that match.
Yes, that's my read as well. I would say Alireza is a slight favorite. It sounds kind of crazy to say that for a match against Hikaru. There's very few people that have beat Hikaru in a match. I think Alireza is one of them. But yeah, definitely that one is going to be fun to follow. I would say 55-45 for Alireza, just for the simple fact that he has the momentum. I would say Hikaru still has the edge in Bullet, but it's close. At the same time, I think that's going to be matched at least by the momentum that Alireza has behind him. I think, especially when you're young, you draw a lot of inspiration and you draw a lot of motivation from good results, I feel. As you get older and more experienced, you kind of start balancing things out a little bit better, so you don't get as tilted whenever you lose, but you also, I would say, not get as much motivation from good results. I think when you're young, you have that extra layer of motivation whenever you do well in tournaments, and I think that's what Alireza is bringing to the table.
Well, he's okay. The thing is, it's a 1 day thing, right? I mean, okay, there is the match, the final, or fight for a third, but the first match is just a 1 day thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very dependent on form on that particular day. So, and whatever form may mean, so things could look very one-sided one way or another, and people might say it's because one or the other side is a favorite. Okay, but the truth is that it's going to be very often down to some details, and yeah, maybe someone's just not feeling good that day, for example, right?
You actually are one of the very few people in the world that have played under that atmosphere. You played the 2019 Pro Chess League finals in this type of setup, playing over PCs, having a crowd, and facing your opponent face to face, but not playing over the board. What are some elements that some people might not be aware of when that happens? Like, do you hear anybody through the headset? Because during
really.
the Pro Chess League, there were like people screaming, and whenever something was happening, were you drawing any hints from the crowd at all, or is that not?
No, I didn't hear anything. Well, to start with, we had some like music on, which sounds strange, but we had music through the headphones. So otherwise, we might have heard the maybe commentary or something. Okay, things were taken a bit less seriously back then. It was kind of a serious event, but also there wasn't much money. It was one of those more like fun exhibition type events. And yeah, I would say that maybe Hikaru has a bit more experience because he actually played what was it called? The Chess Global Championship.
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
And that was he lost to Wesley.
But Alireza was there also, wasn't he?
No. Alireza was not. Magnus was not.
Oh, never mind. I'm talking about the championships.
Hans was not.
Yes.
This is actually the famous one. Right? It was 2022.
Yes.
So it was a famous one that Hans was supposed to be in. Right. So, I think he was supposed to be in it. I think he qualified.
He did qualify. Yes.
So, but he didn't play. as we know. Wesley played Nihal in the finals. I was there not as a player, but as a commentator. And Wesley beat Hikaru in the semifinals.
Mm-hmm.
So Hikaru will have some experience. I don't know if Magnus has done. No, Magnus has. He played in. Actually, they all have. No, now that I think about it, because they played this final, the FTX Cup, thing in Florida, the one before the Sinkfield Cup. So Magnus actually played Hans there, and Ali Reza should have also been there, but it's not immediately coming to mind if he was.
I do think he was. Yes, he was definitely there. He was definitely there because he went to Miami. He did quite well, and then he came to. He might have even won that tournament.
No.
Did Magnus win that?
Well, Magnus won like the whole tour, so did he? I think he probably also won the individual one.
I know Ali Reza was in Miami and he did very well because we were discussing kind of his trip to the US and how he collected pretty much in every tournament that he played in.
Well, we were talking more about the Sinkfield Cup, the St. Louis Rapid and Blitz, and the Grand Chess Tour and all that. Which again, we've spoken about that Sinkfield Cup more than once.
Yeah.
But yeah, so all the players have tried the hybrid stuff, and I mean it's not that much different, right? The only real difference is you're not at home, which is a different atmosphere. Like you're not alone at home.
Yeah.
With even I think for some of the matches they were proctored. Like Hikaru and Jan were being proctored for the Speed Chess Championship, the quarterfinal match, and Hans versus both Wesley and Maxime were proctored. I believe on both sides, all the players were proctored. So they weren't like completely alone, but it's a different atmosphere. And anyway, this is a kind of a minor detail, right? But it's not going to change much that they're playing from let's say a location with a live audience compared to a location without a live audience.
Yeah, no. But I do think that definitely the interest has expanded. I remember we had an atmosphere at the 2019 Pro Chess League. I think there's going to be even more of an excited fan base in Paris. I see a lot of Reddit posts already. I'm hearing that the VIP tickets, which go for as high as $1,500, have been sold out. So definitely there's interest in the match for good reason. And I think you're going to see the players being asked for interviews, for autographs. There's going to be some fan pressure as well. There's meet and greet for the VIPs with the players. And on top of that, I think something that's going to be, and it has been the case for most of the events in recent years, will be fair play scans, which are going to take about 15 minutes. I'm looking at the official schedule right now. The fair play scans for each player is going to take around 15 minutes. You've done some of that at the Champion Chess Tour finals.
Mm-hmm.
How intrusive is that? How intrusive are the fair play checks? Without giving too many details, because we don't want to.
Yeah, not as intrusive as they can be, I guess. But I'll just say what the process was for our tournament. They used a normal metal detector and also what's called a nonlinear junction detector. And there was one guy, I think, who was in charge of this. I think it was shoes off, jacket off, not all clothes off, right? Their glasses off. Yes. And just like a full body kind of slow scan.
Very cool. So
pretty thorough. It's nothing too dramatic, but it does take about 15 minutes. Sounds excessive. I think it was about 5 minutes that we were doing it. But 5 minutes is quite a lot, I guess, for a scan. I don't know. Maybe at some day we'll be going through these like airport detectors, right? Those, I guess, will pick up anything. But for now, this is probably a pretty secure scan. And I don't know about like other security measures they have. Maybe they have a delay, but I'm not sure if that's the case. I mean, with a live audience, you can't really have a delay, right? Because anyway, there's a live audience. There's people in the audience who are seeing it. That's what I assume, right? That the audience is seeing it live.
Yes. Yes, there should be a live
They're
audience.
selling
The
tickets,
audience
yeah?
will be they're selling serious tickets, yes. But I don't think there's probably going to be a means of communication. My guess is that the live audience will be proctored as well, as in they're not going to be able to use their phones, things of that nature.
That
And
might
maybe
be
there's going to be
a
like
wise choice.
maybe there's going to be like a blocking wall between the players and the audience. I don't know. This is just all speculation.
I mean, it has nothing to do with like if you think someone is trying to cheat or not. It's just that you want to ensure that there's no possibility in every tournament. So it's just a good idea to do it. And then you also can't have the like complaints, right? Or like the insinuations that sometimes come up every now and then, or the backdoors talk. So you just make sure that there's no possibility.
Cool.
Then there's nothing to really discuss. So okay, hopefully they have everything like that under control, and yeah, and then they'll see two matches, and the winner will play a final. The winners will play a final. The losers will play a match with third, fourth place, which nobody will care about.
I think people will care about those third place matches as well.
I mean, the players are interesting, so people will care. But of course, nobody really sees much of a difference between third and fourth place. Although it is like you're going to be beating one of the like potentially best players in the world, a very strong player for third place. So it's still not easy to get third place. I mean, you're still scoring 1-1. Like you can get second place with 1-1 or third place, but it's basically the same result.
Completely agree. Yes. No, I definitely think there's going to be some interest in that. Cool. So you're putting Hikaru and Alireza at around 50-50. I'm giving a slight edge to Alireza, let's say 55-45, but definitely going to be a very close matchup. And that's the first match that the viewers are going to see. That's happening tomorrow, according to the time that we record this one.
They're both happening tomorrow.
Yes. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. is the player arrival. I'm just going through the schedule right now. It's actually at 4 p.m. The first semifinal starts. That's Paris local time. 4 p.m. And then the second semifinal, the one between Magnus and Hans, starts at 8:30 Paris time. So quite late. Let's talk about that semifinal. Obviously, everybody's interested in that. These two players haven't met over the board since 2022. Haven't met in any format outside of Title Tuesday, I think, since 2022. So
unless you count the one move game that they played. But yeah, they played some Title Tuesday games, which are usually not too interesting. Usually like just a short draw.
Yeah.
But this is the first serious event they're playing. Yeah, which is it's going to be an interesting match. What can you say?
Let's talk odds. I think we kind of hinted at Magnus having a pretty big lead. According to the stats, according to pretty much every other pundit out there. What would you put Magnus at in terms of chances to win?
90-95, I would say. Normally, 90-95. That seems about fair. Of course, anything can happen. It's not like Hans is incapable of winning. But he is seriously outmatched in every time control and every metric that you would possibly go by. And he's only lost 2 matches, I think, in history in this format. One to Hikaru, one to Maxime. Now you could argue Hans beat Maxime, so why not, right? But yeah, that's still a bit of a stretch, I think. And normally the length of the match is very much in Magnus's favor because it's so long, and he always has a chance to make a comeback. So even if it's not going so well at some moment, we even saw like Maxime was at some point gearing up towards a serious comeback. Just he needs to win the last game, I think, right?
Yes. Yes. No, it against Hans, it was decided in the last game.
I think they were tied, but Hans won the last game. But it was like one of those bullet games that can go either way, you know. So it's I would say the length definitely favors Magnus, and he's just a better player. You can't really argue with that. Of course, Hans is good. He's in form recently. He's playing well, having a lot of good results. But that doesn't change in my view, the general assessment.
Completely agree. I would put it at slightly lower. I would say between 80 and 85% for Magnus, for the simple fact that I'm thinking, and this is not something that he has been impacted by in the past, is the general psychological pressure that comes with any high stakes event. Magnus is one of, if not the best player to deal with pressure in this type of situations. Obviously, this is one of those situations where there's going to be a lot of pressure. You have kind of an unexpected rival, and a rival that he didn't want to see. He has expressed that quite a few times. He didn't want to see Hans in the semifinals. Hans made it against all odds, and right now Magnus has to deal with that. So based on that, maybe some psychological pressure that he did not expect. That's why I'm going to drop him from your 90 to 95 to my 80 to 85% favorite to win this one. Nevertheless, it's going to be a fun event. Cool, perfect. All right, I think we got those matches sort of done, sorted out.